This message is for the chosen ones, for all those that have a divine calling. It is important for you to be consistent about the protection of your energetic field. There are many within the spiritual communities, right, that are portraying themselves to either be light workers, earth angels, chosen ones, basically. Those that have a divine calling like ourselves. There are many that are portraying this energy, right? And portraying to be something that they're not, because they really are in opposition and they have entity level attachments to them that are causing coercion to attempt to align and get close to others within the spiritual communities, to harvest chosen ones, spiritual gifts or energy, and then also to sow discord and distortion and illusion within the community. It just basically just cause a lot of disruption for the true chosen ones that actually have this divine calling and that actually have true spiritual authority and spiritual gifts, right? So the energy is calling for not only the chosen ones to be mindful of this, to be aware of this, but to also be protective of your energetic field, because a lot of these people that are infiltrating, that are attempting to infiltrate, that have already infiltrated, and that are sowing this discord, will attempt to try to get close to many of the chosen ones or to get into your own energy so that they can absorb or harvest or take from you. So it's calling for you to be very discerning of who's who, right? Be very mindful of who you allow in. Be, tapped in basically with these energies and tapped into who these people are or whoever it is you're allowing in, right? It's not about being paranoid. It's nothing of a fear tactic. It's just causing for us chosen ones to be just a bit mildly on guard, not even on guard, but just definitely aware, right? Just definitely present and knowing who's who and what their intention is for those that are in the spiritual community, right? And so, yes, that's that. These entities that are infiltrating and using these particular beings in order to infiltrate the spiritual communities or get close to the chosen ones for whatever reasons, these entities have their own agenda of why they're doing so. Like I said in a previous video, I said one of the tasks that the chosen has been given, those that have a divine calling, light workers, energy healers, earth angels, all across the globe, star seeds. One of our tasks given to us is to vibrate high at high signature frequencies, right? That we make a magnanimous change within the matrix grid, within whatever environment we're in, and within the lives of others. So we are activating others. We are healing others. We are causing disruptions within an illusionary system and an illusionary grid, right? So naturally, we can't be naive in thinking that if we're tasked with all of that and us vibrating to a high frequency alone is causing disruption and causing all of that, we can't be naive in thinking that we wouldn't have some form of pushback. And so there are many chosen ones that are on top of their protection, on top of their alchemy within their own field. But there are many that are not, that may be lackadaisical or dragging their feet in the area, because you may say to yourself, well, my spiritual team is going to take care of all of that. And yes, your spiritual team does take care of a lot of things that we're privy to and many things that we're not privy to, right? But it's a co-creative process. We also have to be hands-on and be responsible enough to be aware to know what is going on within our own field, because it's only so much that your spiritual team can do based off of energetic laws. And we have to be able to exercise our own power and sovereignty as well. So we have to be mindful of what's going on. And the reason why this is coming through also is because there are many things that are being done against the chosen ones, right? Whether it's spell works or conjurings or projections that are being sent, and all manners of things, occult science behind the scenes that many are practicing and that's being done, right? And so we cannot be naive and thinking that our spiritual team is always just going to counteract everything that goes on within the energetic realms. We also have to be hands on because we are sovereign beings, and this is just what our mission entails as well. In order to vibrate even to high frequencies, we have to also be responsible. We're responsible for the care of our own energetic field. So us being aware of these things and tapping in and doing our protection over our own field is also essential. Many of these things that are being done up against the chosen ones, it doesn't even reach us because we are vibrating at such high levels, right? But then you may find that sometimes it does reach you, because sometimes your spiritual team will allow particular things to reach you so that you can learn a lesson through them, or that so that you can see you are part of this co-creative process as well, and that you're going to need to be a bit hands-on within this area of your life as well, so that is something that may occur. Or also these energies of anything being conjured up against us, sometimes the way it reaches you as well is when you are still having certain lower entanglements within your energetic field, right? You could be still having certain shadow traits or insecurities or something of that nature that's still within your field that needs to be released. Sometimes these energies that others may be projecting towards you could also reach you quite possibly in that way too, because you are still even though you're operating from a higher vibration on a regular basis, you're still having lower stasis vibrations within you. So if those energies get sent your way, it may latch onto those lower states of vibration, right? And then you have all manner of forces that attempt to work up against you sometime, that actually, do scrying or divination techniques and things of that nature to see what's going on within your energy, to see what's going on within your field, so they could target certain weak points within your field. So that's another reason why it's important for you to be aware and to protect yourself. Now, the chosen ones do not have to do don't really have to go to extreme occult textbook magic in order to really get things done, right? Because we are innately intertwined with source string frequency, for our mission and doing what it entails, right? We are literally linked in such a way that most beings are not to the most high, to that source organic frequency. That's why we are the chosen ones. That's why we have a divine calling, right? So we can do something that can be so simple, and it can be way more powerful than anything that someone is doing that is practicing or dabbling within ritual or textbook magic, right? And so you protecting your field could look like an array of things, and just in a matter of reciting affirmations over your field, over yourself, doing visualizations and shielding yourself, or prayer, it's a grounding yourself, it's just various things that you can do. But when I'm saying, whatever you find that is resonant for you, but what I'm saying is, it is important to consistently protect your energy field. Be mindful of who you're allowing in. Be mindful of, of what it is that you may be even sensing or feeling sometimes, because a lot of times, whatever you're carrying or what you're feeling, it may not be your own, right? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful of these things and do your burning and releasing. Absolutely return to sender, whatever energies are being projected or being worked up against you, return it to sender. That's another thing. Like, we're not all love and light. We are dualities. We are multidimensional beings. So we have various sides to us, right? I could be nurturing 1 minute, and I could be a fierce warrior another minute. And I'm just giving an example. We are multidimensional beings. And so my point in bringing that up is to basically say, we have to be willing to exercise all these different dimensions of ourselves and whatever it entails, right? It's not always about love and light to be a light worker or to be an earth angel or to be one that has a divine calling. It's not always just about that, right? It's duality. So sometimes you may have to summon your dark feminine energy or summon your dark masculine energy, and it's not a negative thing, it's part of your power, right? So you have to be willing to create from particular spaces within yourself. So what I'm saying is we can't place all of the emphasis on our spiritual team and thinking that everything is automatically going to be done for us in the energetic realms. Many times we need to also co-create with them, right? And that's maybe speaking outwardly or doing those affirmations or doing that burn and release, or just being an active participant in the process as well, and not being naive and just going along with everything that's being done, like I said. So we can't be naive and even thinking that things are not attempting to be done towards us, with what we're carrying, and many times these entities are targeting beings that have a weak mental fortitude, right? They are targeting beings that are heavily ingrained with their lower natures within themselves. So extreme unhealthy ego or envy, jealousy, vanity, greed, or any attributes that is like heavily ingrained within the lower chakras and the lower dense nature. They target beings that have that don't have a strong mental fortitude, that's easily to control or manipulate or to coerce or, and they get these beings. And then also they target particular beings for certain reasons as well. Like certain entities will target, like for instance, maybe someone that is, visually appealing to the eyes. Maybe they look good or something like that. And the entity may want to utilize them and utilize their looks in order for whatever agenda they want, because they understand that most of humanity prefers to feed their energy to something that looks aesthetically pleasing to them on the eyes or something like that. Or they may utilize or target a particular individual for their charm. Maybe that person has a particular charm and how they speak to people and can kind of sway people in a particular direction. Basically the gift of gab. Maybe that person has the gift of gab. They may target that particular person, and basically, so there's a lot of beings that are taking these entity attachments on willingly, and there are many that are being coerced and manipulated and deceived into taking these entity attachments on. But that being said, everyone is not a human out here, okay? Everyone is not a human. Everyone doesn't always have the greatest intentions. Now, for the chosen seed, we magnetize an array of things, and I am a firm believer it's about your vibration, which you magnetize. So I'm not one that really concerns myself for the nonsense, but also too, this is what's coming in. It's not asking for us to be in an extreme guarded type of way. It's asking for us to just be very discerning, okay, of our energy. Be discerning, especially when you are vibrating to higher and higher heights. Be discerning of the energies around you. Trust your intuition. Go with your gut. Don't second guess or get mixed up in someone else's words or something like that. Because like I said, most of the time, a lot of people are having entity attachments, and some people have co-signed with these entities. So they may not be taking over all the time. That entity may be coming and going when it pleases. So, that's why you may be confused at one point, where your intuition might be screaming at one point, and then the next point you may be confused. So if you ever can't ascertain who's who, tap in with your spiritual team, because your spiritual team will definitely let you know that this person has no place in your energy, right? Or this person is not who they say they are. But yes, it's just calling for us to be discerning. Protect your energy field, okay? Do whatever protection rituals or spells that you need to do, whatever format that is so resonant for you, okay? Be mindful and aware that, it's not it's not everyone within the spiritual communities, or it's not everyone that's claiming that they are chosen one, or that they, are part of this mission work, it's not everyone that's a chosen one or a part of the mission work. It's unfortunately, it's sad that it's like that, but that's in anything, right? There's infiltration that occurs in everything, and that's just how it goes. So we have to be very much mindful for the chosen ones, and even for those that are not in that path, but are maybe going to those that they think are the chosen ones. It's important all around for people to be discerning about whatever energies that they are allowing in or that they are being affiliated with. So that's the message. And do not be afraid to call judgment upon your enemies, okay? I call the highest form of righteous judgment against all of my enemies, known and unknown, in spirit and in flesh. That is so important, right? Return to sender and calling judgment on those enemies. That is so important, to do so, right? Throw that energy right back at their ass and also call on that judgment, because the chosen ones actually have high spiritual authority and rank. And when we call judgment on someone, we are calling it, and that's, as you notice, I said the highest form of righteous judgment, because me as a chosen one, I don't call judgment on no one just to do it. Like, if you really, sometimes you gotta do it when you have those energies that are really trying to work up against you, or they trying to mess up what you got going. So don't be afraid to also call judgment on your enemies, okay? Yes, that's the message.